Good morning. Welcome to the Saturday training for Send Out Cards affiliates. I'm Janine Bolin, and today we're going to be talking about the 4 hours a week that every affiliate can do with their business, and that is only if you want to increase your income. That's the caveat. Most people think that Send Out Cards is going to build itself. It actually takes a little bit of effort, but if you put it right, if you put the time and the effort into the correct areas, you will have amazing results. And I am out proving that now for people in real time. So the 4 hours a week that if you wish to increase your business, increase your income, if you do these 4 hours a week, you will build. And that is prospecting. You do that an hour a week. Follow up, you do that for an hour a week. Closing for an hour a week, and then train yourself. Now, if you're like me, when I first started in business, I had no idea what these terms meant. And so each week I've been going through step by step what each term means, and more specifically, what it means for the Send Out Card group, because we are a very unique MLM. Almost all MLMs are unique. I'm not busting on anyone. I love them. I trained with Mary Kay. I love MLM, but as Send Out Cards is different, or SOC as we call it, because our whole focus is on making the world a better place, one card at a time. And if we are not making the world a better place, then we don't need to be in this MLM. You may need to go to somewhere else. So just wanted to let you know that what we are doing is working on your Send Out Card business. We're not working in your business. And you're like, okay, Janine, what does that mean? When you are working inside the Send Out Card business, you are on the app, you are in the business, you are sending cards. That's working in the Send Out Card business. When you are sending cards, you are conducting business and you're working in it like a technician, almost like you're sending out those cards, making the world a better place. When you work on your business, that's because you are trying to get it to grow. And like a farmer, you are sitting there watering it and making sure that everything that you need to grow your business is happening. One of the things I want to talk to a lot of the salesmen out there and other business owners that maybe you're coming in from different things, what is the sacrosanct item for sales is IPAs. IPAs can really destroy your Send Out Card business. When you start working on IPAs, which is income producing activities. And if that is the way that you're actually moving into the Send Out Card system, please find a different MLM. This is not about IPAs. This is not about focusing on income producing activities. This is not about focusing on the money and how to get the next client. And I cannot stress that enough, because in Send Out Cards, we are the quintessential salesman, meaning we sell by not selling. And we're going to talk about that and what it means. And that's why I enjoy Send Out Cards so much. Now, when you focus on IPAs, the problem is it doesn't fit into the puzzle piece. It doesn't fit into the picture that Send Out Cards is all about. Send Out Cards is all about upliftment and encouragement of humanity, helping be there with a card when you physically can't be there. And even if you can physically be there, you're sending a card, letting that person know how you feel about them. The whole dynamic and the whole picture that we're building with the puzzle pieces that is Send Out Cards has nothing to do with what IPA is doing. Now, IPA, income producing activities, and that format of sales and selling is totally appropriate in many different industries. I'm just saying, if you're working in that industry, please do not bring that paradigm into Send Out Cards. It won't work. It'll fall flat. Okay. So what is this 4 hours a week that I'm talking about? And what is the best way to have a good experience with Send Out Cards? By doing these 4 hours a week. And if you do them consistently for 52 weeks, you will double your income in a year. I have been doing this sort of system for probably the last 12 businesses that I've run. I build businesses and I sell them. I build businesses and I sell them. Well, now I find myself in a business where I'm never going to sell it because I absolutely love it. And Send Out Cards is basically the marketing and follow-up arm to my main business. So send out cards is not my primary source of income. It's actually something that I saw, as far as my accountant sees it, as marketing and sales. It was, I had a budget for the system sends that I put out every month for my primary business. All of a sudden now, with me just taking the same business model that I use in my personal business and using it in send out cards, I'm actually seeing income coming from my marketing arm. So that's how it fits for me. And that's what I wanted to share with you today. So by spending an hour a week doing prospecting, an hour a week doing follow-up, an hour a week of closing on certain of your prospects, and then spending an hour a week training yourself, or as an affiliate, if you have a team, you need to be training your team an hour a week. And that's what I'm doing. I'm leading by example here. You do these 4 hours a week for the next 52 weeks, you will double your income. All right, you will double your income. And I'm going to talk to you about how we move forward using the closing aspect of the business, okay? So let me give a shout out to Josh Turner, because I stole one of his slides from his presentation, and I'm an author and I don't like to plagiarize. Josh Turner is part of the linked selling system, where he uses LinkedIn to help sales and marketing people. Now, the thing is, unless you're selling pretty high ticket items like over $1,000, Josh's systems won't work as well. I took his high-tech systems and I built them and had to modify them for my own use. But I wanted to give Josh a shout out for this document here. He actually is the one that created this prospect guide. And I want to talk about only 4 items. It's a very busy slide, but really for send out cards, we're talking about the first contact. When you talk to somebody and you let them know that you're a part of send out cards, or you're just having a conversation, maybe they don't even know what you do yet, and you send them a card after that primary first contact, you're already 50% better than most of the salespeople out there, because you've already done one very important thing. And what is that? Follow-up. You've already done a piece of follow-up. So the next one I wanted to show you about, because most of us will send a card right after we meet somebody. Then we'll send a card when we find out their birthday. Then we'll send a card when we think about them. You know, on average, most send out card people, you're going to contact somebody with a card at least 4 times in a year, right? Well, if you do that, then you're already in the top 11% of sales professionals, because most people do not receive 4 intimate touches of contact with like what we can give in the send out card system. The next one is contact number 8. If you hit a person or give them a card 8 times within a 12-month period of time, there is no one. You are probably the only person in that individual's life, outside of maybe their mom, who has contacted them in the mail with a card over 8 times in a year. That's insane. And that's why they say you're the only person that's done that if you're in sales and marketing. The most important one is when we make them a customer. Now, it's not going to take this long view, but I'll talk a little bit more about why I have this in my head. This is a part of my paradigm. Many times I have customers long before this. Please remember, I have a primary business that makes my money and feeds my kids and pays my mortgage. My business does that. I never thought of send out cards as a business, but the systems that we're using will work just as well with that. Okay, so no one is allowed to get out of your sphere of influence unless you've asked them for an address. And one of the wonderful people that I've met in send out cards by the name of Nancy Zare, where she and I were giggling because she beat me to it. And I always giggle when somebody is so on point with this and they beat me at getting my address before I can ask them for theirs. But before, we were 15 minutes before our time was going to be up on the Zoom meeting we were on. And she's like, oh, and before we do this, I need your address. I just started laughing hysterically. I thought that was great. So the thing is you create a very loose plan, okay? And then you get yourself prepared to work that plan and have a great time doing it. Whatever you do, do not make send out cards work. Send out cards is my favorite part of the week. And I know you guys may be tired of me saying that, but I look forward. I wake up on Saturday and I'm jumping out of bed. Why? Because I'm going to be training affiliates and send out cards every Saturday morning at 8 a.m. Mountain Time. I am there. Okay. So I just wanted to let you know, do not make this work. What you are doing, and this may help your mindset a little bit, is you are taking time for you, and you're taking time for your connections, and you're sitting down with your favorite beverage, and you are sending cards, and you are talking to them about something that you know will change their life, right? So basically, it's all about you focusing your light on the people that you care about. So when we talk about these 4 hours that you're supposed to work, in closing, it's about booking the next event. Now, I've been telling you about how if you do these 4 things, it'll double your income. So like I told you, I only had 289 addresses as of March 15th of this year. When Send Out Cards offered the opportunity for people to become affiliates at no charge during that time when we had the lockdown, that's when I really started helping my people, because I'm in the financial industry and a lot of people had lost jobs. And as they were looking for their next job, I was like, here is something you can do at no income, like no money down. And so I managed to get a team of 22 affiliates because of that process. So there I am with a team going, oh man, I know what I'm supposed to do. I'm supposed to train my team. So that's what this series is all about. By May, I had 314 people in my addresses. June, 367. We're only halfway through July and I'm at 391. I'm going to hit the 400 mark. Like I said, this was never my purpose, but this is what's happened in 4 short months, people. Okay, in 4 short months of me just doing what I've been telling you guys to do. Now, as a scientist, I look at this calendar and I look at this graph, and this makes me happy, right? This is what makes Janine drool. When I get to see data on a graph, I get very excited because I can read it because I know geometry, right? And you can tell from April to May, there was a huge increase. Well, that was when I did my email marketing for Send Out Cards and told people about, if you've lost a job, if you've lost one of your 3 part-time jobs, let me introduce you to something that can help you over the course of this next year that's easy to do. And as I like to advertise all the time, it's fun, okay? So one of the things that happened in April, every time I do a system send, and when you can afford it, because I do not ever want you to go into debt for your business. This is against my primary job for my financials. I teach debt-free living. Never go into debt for your business, You just don't do that. But when you can afford it, you get the money together, buy the system sends as soon as you can financially afford it, and start sending system sends out to your people and your clients and your other affiliates. Why? Because you're trying to force the hand of those people to see the benefit that Send Out Cards is. If they are business people like I work with, I know Send Out Cards can help them, okay? If they're realtors or hairdressers or anybody, I seem to attract business people. So for my demographic, I know Send Out Cards is a solid thing. And it's not just because it works for me. It works for any business to do follow-up. So, you know, I have it a little easier than some. Okay, so in this training, I promised to talk to you a little bit about closing, and some people would accuse me of, Janine, you haven't talked about closing at all. Tell me about this closing thing, because if you've done the IPA sort of version of marketing and training, you would know that closing is you're supposed to close the deal. You're supposed to make it happen. And in Send Out Cards, it looks totally different from anything that we are doing. We ask you for the next Zoom meeting. In Send Out Cards, we do not let somebody leave our sphere of influence unless we know we have a date on the calendar for the next meeting. And why do we always want to get people on Zoom? I mean, if they don't have that set up, which nowadays it's so much easier after the lockdowns, so much easier to get people on Zoom than other times. Make sure you have a place where if you get on a Zoom call with me, I will send you a link and it'll send you to this page on my website. And this page has a big fat red button that says schedule a time with Janine here. Why are we doing that? Because we do not talk about Send Out Cards. We show people Send Out Cards, as our guru John Adler says, right? Show them, show them, show them. Mainly because what we are looking for is a long-term contact to make this person a customer. in my mind, every person that I talk to is a customer, and I'm going to treat them well. Why? Because I plan to send out cards to the day I die until they put me in a box and bury me 6 feet under. You are guaranteed I'm going to be in this business. This MLM is not a fly-by-night thing for me. This has brought me such joy. I have been able to have higher, sometimes I feel like I have higher impact at send out cards than I do with my real, quote, real job. And it's kind of frustrating sometimes. But then other days, people are actually posting the cards up online and Facebook and LinkedIn, telling people that. So when it comes to your next meeting, you want to show them what it looks like. And that's how you close people, is showing them the system. Now, I'm from Missouri. And for those of you who maybe have learned how to say the state Missouri, you've guaranteed me of 2 things. I know 2 things about you if you say Missouri. Missouri is, you mean you have lived in Missouri above the I-70 interstate. I'm so sorry. I know everybody likes that side of the state, but I'm from the southern part of the state, and the Mason-Dixon line runs right underneath Missouri, so technically we are not south. We are Midwest. I just want to correct that right now for those of you who may not know your geography or your history. There you go. But above the I-70 line, they say Missouri. If they're from St. Louis, Kansas City, that. If you're below I-70, it's Missouri. So I'm from the show me state. So I have to be shown things. So I seem to attract the same sorts of people. So when it comes to send out cards, as often as you can, get on Zoom and ignore people when they say, can't we just get on a phone call? I'm like, why, is your butt sore from being on Zoom all the time? Sure, no problem. Just as long as you're looking at your computer, and I'll walk them through. Can you tell I used to do computer tech? I used to be one of those folks. So when it comes to closing, what it means to send out cards users is simply this. You make sure you stay in that person's life. Now, if they get nervous and they like, I don't really operate with a calendar, I don't, you know, they're just basically trying to give you what we call a soft no. I always then follow up with, well, can I send you cards? And I have, of all the thousands of people I have come in contact with since I've started send out cards, I have only had 2 individuals that like, you know, I really just don't want you in my life. I've only had 2. And I say that's incredibly, insanely good odds. Why? Because I know I'm shining a light of joy. I know I'm shining a light of abundance and excitement for life. And you know what? Nothing pisses people off more if they're not in a good place than to have somebody like me in their life. And I know it can be really annoying to have somebody who's upbeat, positive, happy about life. Even in these so-called dark times, guess what? Some of us are thriving. Those of us that are not thriving, well, then I see it as my job to help you thrive. And I will be glad to give you the education, training, and resources for that to happen. But as we all know, somebody has to put the sweat equity in, right? So this is one of my business rules. I have a lot of business rules, but this is rule 25. Yes, it is a booklet. I've had people ask me for it. I'll get to publishing it next year. But my business book is this: don't conduct business with people you don't like. If I get a intuitive vibe that somebody that's in front of me, I really don't like, I don't do business with them. I let some other affiliate handle that person. There is no way I'm going to do business with people I don't like. So if somebody doesn't like me and they're trying to get away from me, I let them go. Why? I only want to attract people who enjoy hanging with me. Because, you know, I'm a bright light. I like hanging with other bright lights. It's a lot of fun. We have a party. So this is Saturday training for send out cards with Janine Bolin. And I'm now going to open it up for questions.